Welcome back to Team Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Now, things are looking a little bit different, as you can tell. Somebody's nicked my table and nicked my stand. So, excuse seeing my legs. They are...
You got the barbecue legs out.
I've got the barbecue legs out. I've had a little bit of a tan. I can't complain. But that is where we are at. However, of course, two Football Daily giants are here. Sam Abasaki and Dougie Critchley. Lads, how you doing?
Very good, very good. Excited for today.
You are representing Football Daily, dudes.
Hell of a matchup.
You've got to form a partnership with Sam.
I know. We've never worked together before.
We've never worked together before. We're going to today.
Well, you guys are up against the SDS podcast, Sharky Does Sports, with Sharky and Faysal. Lads, how are you doing?
We're here. We're ready. You know, different turf today.
Different turf. You're on the away side today.
With England.
With English, English.
I'm sure as well.
Yeah.
We came international today.
I like it. Faysal, how are you feeling?
Yeah, man. Thank you for having us.
No, thank
you for having me as debut, which I'm quite looking forward to it.
Amazing. Okay, well, for you guys at home that don't know how this works, I will be asking the lads a series of questions from ranking or asking them to give me a player's name. They will then debate over why their choice is correct. They could then convince the others to change their choices. And then, depending on who made the best debate, I will be giving out points. And we will see who will be the winner at the end of the show. Football Daily, we've done this several times. No pressure, lads. Okay, let's kick it off. Pick up your boards, please.
Oh, let's go.
I'm so excited for this, by the way.
I got a sore throat, man, so I'm not even feeling it.
Excuses already. Come on,
That's
man.
not
the attitude we need over here.
I'm going to have a lot of controversy.
The first question then, lads. Rank these managers from best to worst. Best being at the top, please. Graham Potter, Southgate, Emery, and Lopetegui.
Four. Wow.
Four
I like
choices.
what you did there, you know, because they're like...
Not the biggest ones out there right now. Some up and coming. Some that have just had a recently bad time.
Oh, this is tough. I mean, Faisal knows about Lopetegui.
Yes, he
does. Managed this club before.
He does. You know about Unai Emery.
Yeah, for 5 months only. I know about Emery.
Sam knows about Potter. Dougie Sports Sunderland.
Totally irrelevant as ever.
Okay, are we all ready?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, show. Emery, all at the top. Lopetegui.
Southgate bottom.
Dougie and Faisal have the
You're
same.
You're wearing an England shirt, brother.
Bro, he's not good. He's not good.
Wait, why do you say that, though? Why do you say that?
With Southgate?
Yeah.
You got Southgate third.
I got him third, yeah.
I'm the only one I've got.
We all have him bottom.
You've all got him bottom. Sam's got him third.
I feel like
Lopetegui there
he's had the talent with two now actually. No, 3. World Cup 2018, the Euros, and the last World Cup. Like, I feel like he hasn't taken advantage of what he's had in front of him.
He's done a phenomenal job,
but
I think, by the way.
really, like in terms of the knockout stage, who has he beaten though? That's the thing.
You beat
Germany, the Euros, where Müller should have honestly scored that chance. He goes to Italy, where, let's be real, it was his fault that we lost that game.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like it's so harsh. The thing is, the reason why I put Southgate third is because I think the job that he's done with England has been like incredible.
I agree.
I think when you look at the England teams beforehand, you can't say that this is the most talented England side we've seen. But I feel like in the time he's been there, he's been able to. He overperformed to start off with, and now he's had that expectation where people are expecting semi-finals and finals, and he's getting there. Like it's not like he's not in that position. So now we can say, okay, cool, we're expecting him to do this, but that wouldn't have been there without him doing well initially. So I think he deserves to be in and around that.
I think the thing with Southgate is a lot of his best work has kind of been cultural, like resetting how the players feel about playing for England, the pressure that comes with coming for England. I think he's taken a lot of that off. You know, blooded a lot of youngsters as well. Fair play to him for that. But if I was to employ any of these 4 managers tomorrow with a fresh, clean slate, Southgate would be my last.
Why
choice.
is Lopetegui much higher? Because Lopetegui is bottom on Sam's.
Lopetegui's actually a really underrated manager. Like, he had a great record with Porto. Yeah, he did really well with Spain, then was forced to step down because he'd already agreed to go to Real Madrid. It didn't really work out at Real Madrid.
That was a bad decision just before the tournament.
Very bad decision.
I know, but also, you know, Sevilla won the Europa League there, got Wolves from 20th to comfortable in mid-table last year with a pretty poor forward line, I thought. So I think he's a pretty underrated manager. Potter and Lopetegui, I think I could have changed either way, to be honest, but I put Lopetegui above him.
Okay.
I agree, but I just flip Potter and Lopetegui. I think Potter's generally like a very good coach. I think Chelsea's a death sentence for whoever goes there.
I don't know. That's not fair. I don't think.
Remember
I
who's
don't think
speaking
that's
to.
fair.
Remember who's giving the points here.
True, we've got a Chelsea man right here. No, but I just think like Chelsea, I think it was a tough job, especially with like everything around it, especially this season. The like how many players been brought in this season. He probably had no even control over like the amount that was spent. All the players being brought in, the thickness of the squad. But I think he's a very, very good coach. I admire his career. He started off like university manager. What he did in Sweden with Östersunds from like second division or something to Europa League and beating Arsenal, the Emirates. Brighton, I thought he was a very good coach. Swansea obviously as well. And I really like him. I think he's a very, very good coach. And to be fair, I think he can do the England job as well really well.
See, the thing is, like I loved Potter before he came to Chelsea, but I think the situation that happened at Chelsea, when you look at like top managers, I'm not necessarily saying that they would have performed miracles because we've said it's a tough ask for any manager. But I think the job that he actually did wasn't good enough at all. If there was like an Emery to come in at Chelsea, or even if Tuchel stayed, I don't think we would have been in a position that we were in when Potter.
So why is he second and Lopetegui's bottom?
Because Lopetegui, I can't. I expected more from him with this Wolves side.
He did a great job.
He came
I
just
Wolves
was
was 20th, bro.
Yeah, no, maybe I'm overdoing it in a sense, but I just think the Wolves team that he had and the teams that were in and around him, you can say Wolves were underperforming, but I think him coming in, I was expecting them to do like an Aston Villa, for example, because I rated him that highly before he got there. So,
but it's tough. It's tough because Wolves never had what Aston Villa had. The strikers, the main striker which they got last summer, got injured. They were rotating between Jimenez, who's injury prone, Diego Costa, which is just here on holiday period.
on a vibe.
So he took them from 20th to what, 13th, 12th?
Yeah, something like that.
Which is still an achievement by itself.
Yeah, no, not bad. But I can't lie. I rate Southgate for what he done for England. I think it's harsh to just say we can say it's just morale, but I think it's more than that. Like the football that they're playing, he allows them to be free. He allows the fullbacks, the midfielders to play to their strengths, and we can't say that any other manager would be able to get what he's got out of them.
Does he always allow it to be free though? Like if you're looking at the World Cup semi-final and the Euros final, as soon as we scored the first goal, were they playing free after that, or were they playing like?
I've not seen any video when he said stop attacking or stop playing. They scored the first goal, and it's just like it's almost like the England mentality of almost like just being the underdog straight away. And I think that he's trying to train them out of that mentality. That's why we've been able to get to the position where we've been to a final, been to a semi. Like these are things that we would not have seen. We've not seen it before.
Why are we applauding coming second and third? Because
it wasn't normal. It wasn't normal.
I mean, before he took over,
you're wearing an English shirt.
We were
take that off, man.
And before he took over, we were losing to Iceland. We were getting knocked out cheaply in the group stage in 2014.
Okay.
Like he has done a great job.
But compare that team, the 2016 team, to what we have now. The quality is completely different.
I'm putting down the mantle. Yes, we will be winning the Euros in a year's time. You heard it here first. Points to Faysal and points to Dougie. Okay. On to our next question. Now, you're only writing down one thing for this, so don't worry about numbering it or anything.
Okay.
And it's interesting. I'm going to be very interested to see what you guys put here. Which position is the hardest in football on the pitch?
Ooh.
3, 2, 1, reveal. Inverted wing back,
these days,
an 8th midfielder, centre mid. So you two, the Football Daily chemistry, I like it. Faysal's also looking in towards the Football Daily side. Why the inverted wing back?
Football's changed now, because now, I mean, I'm a centre mid, so I agree. It's flipping hard, but it's changed now. I don't know how much things you have to do here. Look at the Cancelos of the world. Look at like other players. Like we've seen a bit of John Stones playing in like an inverted role. This is now becoming a position. Yeah, players like Trent can be playing in this position where you have to. Wing back is already tiring as it is, right? You go up and down, and then you got to also have the smarts to then tuck in at the right time, and then also drop back at the same time. Obviously, we're talking about traditional positions. I agree. I think the centre mid is hardest because you've got to do a two-way job. We're talking about new positions that are up and coming. This is a very tough position because you've got to be smart. Cancelo, for example, you've got to be very, very smart. You know when to join midfield and know when to abandon defence, know when to drop back in the defence, make it a 4 again or a 5 again. It's tough and it's tiring.
I mean, he also does have tough as managers as well.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's a really good argument there. The centre mid boys.
Can I actually change my answer?
Yeah, sure.
Can I just make a quick change?
Yeah, 100%.
Can I put striker?
Yeah, put striker if that's how you feel. I'll let you put striker.
I'd like to put number 9.
I'll hear from maybe one of you boys quickly whilst he's
Yeah, I
doing that.
think, I mean, most of the best players, I mean, teams don't function without good central midfielders at all. You can get a very good side, you can get a very bad side with good strikers. I think the best technical players generally play in the centre of the park. And I think some of the best players in the world in terms of their technical ability often play in central midfield as well. And as Sharky intonated, like going forwards, going backwards, you've got to be so aware, you've got to control the tempo of a game, you've got to pick the right passes. So much relies on central midfield, I think more so than any other position.
Yeah, and I think it's just non-stop. Like, if you look at other positions, and this is...
What position do you play, by the way, Sam?
I play centre mid and right back. But I'm talking, if I started right back and then went centre mid, yeah, and then it's like...
So you are an inverted fullback?
Yeah.
Technically. But when you look at that position, yeah, and look at other positions, you can see that position is just non-stop. Like right back, you get some time, you get some breathing time. Even strikers, for example, if in modern day football, yeah, you're pressing the fullbacks, you're pressing the defense. But once it's in your half, you're chilling for a little bit, or you're just filling up some gaps. Centre mid, you have to be on every time. They tell you when you're younger, check your shoulders constantly, even with if you've got the ball or not. So I think it's hard to look past him, and like Dougie said, when you're actually playing for some of the best teams in the world, you have to do everything goes through you. You just can't stop. So I think that there's no position that is harder.
That's such a weird route though, from right back to centre mid. That's rare. You just the other way around. You just centre mid. They get pushed back to right back.
It's the opposite.
Philip Lahm, man.
Right back covers his head.
Philip Lahm, man. And Sunday League is different.
So you sound well. I've played with Sam. Sounds very good. I do want to hit strike. And also, why did you change your opinion?
I feel like midfield. Yeah, okay, midfield is the obvious option, but I feel like as a striker, that's so much. It's pretty much out of your control because the service that you get, it's not down to you. It's down to the midfielders, down to the wing, and I feel like it's the most criticised position because if you don't score a goal, they on you. If your task is to score a goal, but if you don't, then they're on you. But then again, sometimes it's out of my control. Like Kai Havertz, I'll give you an example of Kai Havertz that played for Chelsea. Was it his? Okay, it kind of was, to be fair. It kind of was.
Careful how you speak about him.
Wrong example.
That's my main
Wrong
example.
example.
But I feel like with strikers, the service that they get is sometimes not down to them, but they still get criticised even though if they don't score a goal.
But that's why I think centre mid is harder, because like you said, it's down to the service. So a striker can always complain at the centre mid for not giving them the ball. The centre back or keeper can always complain at the centre mid for not showing correctly. Yeah. So you're criticised constantly. Like strikers, if you have 5 chances, yeah, you can have 5 chances to score your 6th. Everyone's forgot about the 5 chances. If you're a midfielder, you've misplaced the pass 4 times. Everyone says
the team doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
We've seen in some of the biggest games, if a centre midfielder's not having a solid game, the team breaks down. So they have to be.
And I'd say the pressure's almost on them more as well, because it's more noticeable. Like a striker, you can kind of not notice them for 10, 15 minutes in the game. Whereas a central midfielder, it's so obvious when they're having a stinker.
Yep, that's very true.
Okay. Points to Sharky.
Yes.
And points to Sam.
Thank you very
I
much.
like your point there. That finishing point was
Spreading
very, very
around,
good.
Zach.
Very,
Spreading
very good,
around.
yeah.
Getting in front of the game.
Weirdly enough, this is going to end in a draw.
No, I try to be different.
No, I like it as well. I
was
it as
actually
well.
going to go striker, but I feel like it's just hard to make that argument.
I think
That was a
every
solid
position.
point. It could be bad for 90 minutes as striker.
Scores
Scores
and
and
then-
hero.
I think every position has an argument. I was like shocked as well. Maybe no one put a goalkeeper too.
I thought about goalkeeper.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I'm glad that one went down well. Our next one, I'm going to name you a bunch of transfers here, and you've got to say which one you hate the most.
Okay.
Kai Havertz to Arsenal. Neves to Saudi Arabia. Tonali to Newcastle. And Gundogan to Barcelona. Which transfer do we hate the most? 3, 2, 1, reveal. 3 Tonalis and a Neves.
Fair play.
Dougie, why Neves?
Firstly, I think Tonali's quite overpriced, and I got abused for it
He's been
heavily
getting
on
abused.
Twitter.
That's how I was shocked that he didn't put it down.
Yeah, I think that's a good argument as well. Neves, I think you got to be quite careful when you discuss Saudi Arabian transfers, because it can come across as quite Eurocentric and quite patronising.
For sure.
And maybe a little bit tinged with like inherent racism in a way that people think, oh, these players shouldn't be going to Saudi.
Facts.
It's a rubbish league.
Facts.
But I just think at his age and stage, like he could have gone to another European club. And whilst I understand players in their 30s moving there, life-changing money, etc., I think I'm just quite disappointed that Ruben Neves, who was, I think, one of the most underrated Premier League midfielders, I'm not saying he's necessarily the best, but definitely underrated, and could have gone to another top club. I know Barcelona eventually pulled out of their interest with him, but surely he could have got another move and gone to Saudi in 2-3 years. Whereas, so I'm just most disappointed in Ruben Neves.
Do you think there's not a shout for him because he's so young to be able to come back and still be able to find it?
Carrasco did it.
Maybe, but I mean, you look at a lot of the players that went to China. Carrasco's kind of the outlier of that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them went back to the top level, and also you don't really know what the level is going to be like in Saudi in 2-3 years' time. Will Barcelona or I don't know Napoli be looking at them and be like, we can get this player from Saudi? So yeah, there's potential that he maybe goes to Newcastle on loan or something like that. But then that just feels even more dodgy as well.
But how often does generational wealth comes into play?
This is true. I can understand it from his point of view, but at the same time, I feel like he would have got that offer potentially in 2-3 years' time. Saudi Arabia's money's not going anywhere. They got the World Cup coming up in 2030, or at least they're trying to get it. And that oil money's
they've
not
just
going
come out
anywhere
and
as well.
announced that they're pulling their bid away from the World Cup.
Yeah, but if
But
they
their
don't get that,
interest
they'll
in
get
football's not going
2034.
anywhere. Yeah.
If they don't get that, they'll get 2034.
But I think it's difficult. I hear what you're saying, but I think when you look at what they're trying to do and how much they're investing in that league, yes, we can say it might take a while, but I think this is the most. Like with Russia, it was completely different because we saw the type of players that they were getting. We're seeing younger players every day being linked with moves over there, and some of them might not go. Some of them might be looking and saying, "Okay, I want to stay in Europe." But at the same time, if you're seeing those players linked with the wages that they're on, surely in the next 4 or 5 years, we're going to see that league and see it, or even less than that, we're going to see it as quite competitive if they're able to get those type of players.
Maybe, but I feel like it makes more sense. I'll say the same point again. It makes more sense for players in their 30s. He still has so much more football to give. He hasn't played in the Champions League since he was about 18.
And he was captain.
And he was captain of Wolves, and he was captain of Porto when he played in the Champions League as well. Like he could have fulfilled his dream of getting back into a Champions League club and gone to Saudi in a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, Tonali, lads. Why do we have Tonali down?
It's too much, man.
Yeah,
The money of 70 million is too much.
And he doesn't want to go there.
He's just agreed.
Yeah, I know, but when I saw the rumors of him being in tears when they told him that because they need to make money, so they basically have to sell him. That alongside it being 70 million euros,
80,
right?
yeah, 80.
80 million.
It went up
I
to
think 70
euros.
million quid, yeah.
So that is a lot of money for a team that we've seen could only potentially make 2 or 3 signings, right?
That's what they say, yeah.
And in terms of the quality that is out there in the world that we've seen them linked with before, they've been linked with the likes of Maddison, that I think would be more important to their side because of the quality he has. Tonali, I can't lie and say I watch him week in, week out. But I did agree with your point when, even though you was getting.
I'm glad someone else is saying it.
No, I agree with your point. 'Cause I think what Newcastle need to think of doing is similar to what Chelsea are doing with Enzo is freeing up Guimaraes and allowing him to really come into his own. Seeing a player that we've seen in the past, we've seen in glimpses, but we could see much more of, especially now they're going into Champions League football. And I think Tonali is a great player, but he's going to have to acclimatise to a new league. He's going to have to, start loving Newcastle and wipe the tears for
I think that'll come pretty soon. I have no doubt he'll do well. I think the reason I put him down as a transfer that I don't like the most out of the ones you gave me is the price. I think as a player,
You think it should have been cheaper?
Probably. I think maybe overspent a bit on him.
Okay.
As a player, I think he's a good player. I think he will do well at Newcastle. And then obviously like Sam said, if he plays in that holding position, it frees up Bruno. Bruno, I think, is a box-to-box kind of midfielder. He can get involved in the goals. He can be the third man running into the box, and they can build quite a good midfield. Joe Linton come in there. Joe Willock obviously is a super athletic player that can be up and down as well. I think it'll be good. It'll be a good player. And also, when you're saying he has to fall in love with Newcastle, Newcastle is a football-loving city. He'll fall in love with Newcastle pretty quick, I think, because they just love their football there. So I think the transfer will work, but based on the fee, that's why I picked this player.
Okay.
Yeah, similar. I'm looking from 3 perspectives. The Milan perspective, you're basically selling your captain, the person that loves the club more than anyone else, after Maldini got sacked, and that is just a complete wrong move for them. They just looked at it from a financial standpoint. For Newcastle perspective, you're trying to do an Isaac signing, like showcasing we're here to stay, but I feel like they got the wrong profile. I don't feel like Tonali is the person to unlock, even though Bruno's done well. I don't think he's the right person to unlock, because now you've got 2 8s and you have to sacrifice one of them to play as a 6 in a double pivot role, which he's not that person. He's a good player, but again, it just comes down to the money. He's not worth 80 million.
Okay. I like your arguments. Quick one as well. Kai Havertz to Arsenal. How do you feel?
I love it.
Do you?
Like, okay, I'm not like no, but I'm not like this is amazing, but I'm on the positive side. I'm one of the only few positive Arsenal fans about that signing. Like, I strongly believe in don't write off a player just because he was bad at one club in his career. I strongly believe in that, and that's what's happening with Kai Havertz. It didn't work at Chelsea, suddenly he's a bad player. Whereas when Chelsea signed him, he was one of the biggest prospects in European football.
Yes, he was.
So he's still the same person. He's only a couple years older. So, and I genuinely believe in Arteta, and I believe in his player profile, scouting and stuff like that. And I think if he's signing Havertz, I think he's got a plan for him, you know. And I believe in his plan, and I think it could work. Obviously, it might not work. It might work, but I'm very positive about the signing because I believe in Arteta, and he must be a good player.
What about the
I can
price?
see Albert
though?
chomping at the
No,
bit.
the only reason I'm saying that is because of the price, one, and two. If that stops, we've seen that City have bid now for Declan Rice. Yeah. If that stops you from getting, like, say, a Declan Rice, would you still have that perspective?
No, maybe not. If the reason why we can't get Rice is because we spent a lot on Havertz and now we can't really bid again on Rice, then I'll be upset because Rice, out of the two, I'd rather have Rice, you know, because Rice, I believe, can be, especially as a 6. If you stay, obviously, I know he wants to play as an 8. City will probably play him as an 8 with Rodri and Holding. But I think Rice, if he wants to play as a 6, he could be one of the best 6s in the world. So, and with the rumours of Partey maybe going to Saudi or Juventus or whatever, and we're losing Xhaka probably, we need someone like Rice more than we need someone like Havertz. So if that happens, then I would be gutted about it.
Just quick about Havertz. If that's 3 teams that wants you, like Bayern wanted you, Madrid wanted you, and Arsenal, that clubs must look at you differently compared to what fans. I've got my thoughts of him. I'm not going to share it.
You weren't too happy when Real Madrid were linked.
I was gutted. I was gutted. But there must be a reason why 3 of the biggest clubs want you. Like you. Yeah.
But there's a man like that in football in general, though. Like Morata's top club. In,
Good point, well
do you know
made.
what I mean? But
that's a myth about Morata.
It's a good point. well made.
Morata scored a fair few goals throughout his career. Like, come on.
But
he's
he's
never been
been-
atrocious ever.
He
He's never
scored
been
one
a
of my
top
favourite
striker,
headers
though.
in history of football for Chelsea against
Yeah.
United.
Yeah, that was
Unbelievable.
And that's when he
header.
done his back in and he became bad.
He's never the same after that. Yeah.
Unbelievable header.
Okay, my point though, because the Havertz stuff doesn't count, goes to Dougie.
Fair.
Neves.
Rank which of these players is likely to have the best campaign next season.
Ooh, nice.
Anthony, Richarlison, Raheem Sterling, and Calvin Phillips.
Wow, you picked these very well.
Wow.
Thank you.
1 second.
Ooh, Sharky's struggling.
It's a mid-off.
I actually think it's
It's a flop off. Yeah.
It's a proper middle.
Oh, actually, I'm changing.
someone here doesn't deserve to be here slightly, though. In my
Yeah, that's one.
I know
yeah.
who you're thinking.
That's one.
I'm keeping it. This is, for me, this is like a shot in the dark. I'm going to have to try to sell this.
3, 2, 1, reveal the boards. Sterling second on Sharky's, top on everybody else's. Anthony top for Sharky. Phillips, Richarlison swapped over there. So you two have the same board. Yeah, you two have the same board.
Yeah.
You've got Richarlison. You 3 have the same board.
Yeah, we got it.
Sorry.
Okay.
You can say Sharky's the only difference.
Sharky, defend yourself.
What did you change last minute, though?
No, I didn't change it. I was gonna change it. I was gonna swap the bottom 2.
Oh,
Okay. The big one. Why Anthony over Sterling?
I think United will do a lot better than Chelsea. Not a lot better, but I think maybe United will do better than Chelsea in general. I think Anthony will be probably starting a lot more for United than Sterling might for Chelsea, because they have so much forwards at Chelsea. As things stand, they just got Nkunku and they got the striker Jackson, whatever his name is. So I think Anthony will probably be starting a lot more, and Ten Hag obviously likes him. He's managed him at Ajax. He'll play a lot more, and he's already produced a few big moments this season, like the goal against Barcelona and all that stuff, and maybe obviously the goal against Arsenal in his first game. He will play a lot more. He'll have the second season confidence now, and I think he'll do well. Sterling, I'm glad everyone else put him high. The reason I was worried is I thought maybe everyone will have him low because of the season.
No.
I think Sterling will do well next season because he's a top player. I think Pochettino has a plan for him.
Is there not an argument to say because his season was so poor this year, he might have the better season because he might do much, much better?
But also this argument, I don't know if he loves football as much anymore.
That's
Ooh.
a hot take.
Is that some inside info?
No,
That is a
no,
hot
no,
That is a hot take. Why do you say that, though?
Sharky, I can't do it anymore.
no.
Surely,
I love Sterling, great guy, great guy.
He's backing up.
but
Surely
surely if that
great
was
guy.
the
No,
case-
but I'm saying that maybe because like he's had a great career already.
Yeah.
Like already at the tender age of 28, had a great career. Like he's like with Liverpool, they've challenged for the title. He was part of that Suarez, Sturridge front line, and he was crucial. Starting back then in that team. For City, he's won countless trophies. For England, he's been England's best player, especially in the Euros and the group stages. He's the only one that scored in the group stages. Like played World Cup 2014, he played World Cup 2018. He played so much tournaments for England and Man City's won loads of stuff. And he's only 28. He's moved back to London now. Like he's in a good position in his life. Chelsea didn't work last season at all. Obviously the squad was overcapacitated.
We know what you mean.
and I think like I just feel like he's, especially last season, he was kind of more just like chilling and whatever. This season it depends on his mentality now. If he's gonna be like, you know what, I still have it in me to I'm still young, I'm 28, I still have it in me to push, I got another good 3 years in me. Or if he just goes, you know what, like I've done a lot in football already. I don't know, but I'm going for the first one. That's why I put him second. I think he will push on and have a good season. Yeah. That's why I got him so high. I just think Anthony, maybe he might have a better season. Phillips, I think
Phillips has got to be lower. Come on.
Has to be.
Pep. Hey, second season.
I know.
But where's he going to play though? Where's he going to play?
Maybe something Rice.
He'll play a lot more. Maybe he'll rotate him a bit more. Maybe get more time.
I don't think so. I think
Richarlison. This is a Spurs player, man.
Yeah. I think we would have seen a lot more Phillips if he was like, not even a lot more, but some of the cameos that I've seen from him, he's not at that standard, in my opinion. And I think that if he was going to be playing for City next season, we would have seen him a lot more in the because they were in every competition up until
they were.
Like, and we saw little cameos.
Was injured for a little bit.
He was injured, but even at that,
Pep also called him overweight though.
Exactly, and when you hear stuff like that, and sometimes that works for certain managers. We saw with Richarlison, Conte called him out, he scored, it was offside, but still he scored. Yeah. But like that happens with certain players. With Phillips, I've not really seen him kick on to that extent. Like for me to say that he's gonna have a good season next year. Richarlison, I put him third because he's not first choice in any of the front three positions at Spurs. So you put Son, Kulusevski and Kane, he's always going to have to be playing catch up unless one of them gets injured. And if they don't, looking at what he did last year, even if he does improve, that's what, less than 10 goals realistically.
He's another player like that Havertz and Wright were talking about. Big teams always want him.
Yeah, I feel like he's got something there, but I think he just went I think he went to the wrong team. I think they were preparing for Kane to potentially leave, and they just don't want to let him go. So that's now getting in the way of Richarlison. So I don't think he's going to kick on to that extent.
I just don't think honestly, I just think he's average as a footballer. I don't think he's as high as people think.
You don't think he's like? I feel like he's got like that goal scoring gene in him, like where it's instinctive. But
I'll be honest. I'll be honest.
Like even for Brazil, we saw what he could do. Like when he's got like room to express himself, and he's one of those strikers that will get a few chances. And it will be like, oh, he's not bagging, and then you'll just get one hard one.
But his goal score numbers at Everton wasn't the best. His goal score at Watford wasn't the best. I don't know why Barca tried to spend 190 mil, 100 mil. At Brazil, I get the perspective of Brazil, but you've got Neymar, you've got Vinicius, you've got Rodrigo, who's providing that.
So does that not mean that he needs that type of service to maybe like thrive?
He's a system player.
He still gets picked over Jesus for Brazil though, which is quite, Jesus is no mug.
No, but the reason why he got selected this World Cup is because Jesus got injured. If Gabriel would he have started? I don't think he would have.
I think he was underrated at Everton. I don't think last season worked out for him. I kind of get what you mean about his technical ability. Maybe he's not in the top echelon of striker, but I think he got back to back 13 goals for Everton in the Premier League. Was not bad, considering a lot of that was wide as well.
To be honest, I want to hear more so why you've got Sterling over Anthony.
I just think Sterling, I kind of agreed with your point that he's got the highest to go, because I actually think Anthony wasn't a complete disaster last year.
Yes, I agree.
Whereas I thought Sterling was really, really poor compared to what I was expecting from him as a really inexperienced Premier League player. Was used to playing in a number of different systems, but wherever he played last year, I can count on one hand the amount of good games he had. I thought he was really, really disappointing. Anthony, particularly in Europe, was fine.
He's fine.
I don't think he was great.
He's that type of player.
He's alright. I completely lied. I don't know why. Sometimes I just say things I'm like. I think Chelsea will finish above United next season. I just said it to back my point, but I think Chelsea comes third.
I was thinking about giving the point.
Midway through my sentence, I was like,
do I actually believe this?
But I think Chelsea do a madness and Pochettino gets them third, and United come probably fourth.
So would you be willing to swap those around?
Yeah, I'll be willing to spot him right.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of him, but I had to back it.
I think Sterling's going to be a big part as to why Chelsea kick on. I think a lot of people have counted him out. Even I've seen some Chelsea fans count him out. we're forgetting what he's done. He's been counting out his whole career when he was at Liverpool, when he was at City, when they were saying he was only a system player. Now, love that. Now he's at Chelsea, and the first season didn't go well for anyone. Next season, if Poch's regime is what we see in terms of like the sprinting and the running during pre-season, I think he's going to kick on.
And they asked Sterling last season, in my opinion, was the first season they asked for him to do much more than what he is actually capable of. At City and Liverpool, he was always the runner behind the defence. At Chelsea, they expect him to be another version of Eden Hazard. He's not that person. I feel like now with the midfield, you get Enzo, you got Caicedo, you get an actual number 9 like Nico Williams. I feel like it's Nico Jackson. Sorry, I think it'll work out for Sterling.
I actually asked Sterling, what do you think about people comparing to Hazard, and he said it's just because I've got a big bum.
He actually said that.
Okay, because as well, Sharky changed his answers to match you guys, at least the top 2. Points to Dougie, Sam, and Faysal.
Lovely.
Okay, so on this one, guys, I'm going to name a team, and you've got to name one player that they have to sign this summer. It's as easy as that. So the first team is Arsenal. Which player do Arsenal have to sign?
Are we allowed to go the obvious options? Or?
You can go, completely obvious options, absolutely fine.
Then that's just easy, though, isn't
it?
I'm going to count. They signed Havertz already.
Okay.
I'll be creative. I'll go outside of Declan Rice.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Reveal. Timber, Chiesa. Okay, they've signed Rice. Let's say they've signed Rice. It's fine. Or Rice has been done. So you've gone Simmons, Diaby, Chiesa, Timber. I like it. Very nice mixture there. Defender. Why?
I thought everyone was going to say Rice. I wanted to say someone different. And also, I think that it wouldn't be a total disaster if Arsenal had to go into next season with the same midfield as last year, whereas it would be a disaster to go in with the same centre-back depth. I think Rob Holding just proved that he's not quite at the right level for a title challenge. Arsenal will hope to challenge next year. I'm not saying they necessarily will. Yuri Timber compared right back, compared centre-back, compared midfield. Excellent on the ball. People will make comments about his height. He's only 5'10", but they made the same things about Lisandro Martinez. Look how that turned out. I think he's going to be an amazing signing for Arsenal. And I think he's at the age where he wouldn't necessarily mind being a bench option to begin with as well. So I think he could make a massive, massive difference.
I agree.
I like it. Faysal?
Chiesa, I feel like Arsenal towards the end of last season, they needed width, they needed difference maker. Saka was overplayed way too much. Martinelli, towards the end of the season, had his little moment where he couldn't provide. I feel like they need, especially next season with Champions League, 4 competitions, they need a difference maker. Chiesa is available for 50-60 million. He can even compete for starting role ahead of Eva Martinelli, which I think he would be, and can play on the right-hand side if Saka gets, of course, rested. So I feel like he's the best option if they want to take us to another level.
Coming off a big injury, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but we've seen a lot of players come back from the big injury. Zaniolo came back, and of course, but I feel like for 50-60 million, Juve is prepared to sell him. No brainer.
I don't
feel
feel like
money.
I don't think
Diaby,
he would suit Arsenal. He's a good player. I like him a lot, but I don't know if he would suit Arsenal.
Would he start over Martinelli?
Nah, Martinelli's better. Martinelli's definitely better.
Chiesa?
He's better. He's for Arsenal. He's better, I think. And Martinelli last season was phenomenal. He's had his best season was last season. One of the best players in the league, best wingers in the league. And I think he is like a mainstay star at Arsenal for the foreseeable, for now anyways. I don't think Chiesa, if he comes in, he'll be like rotation. He's got to accept that. He's not going to start over Martinelli straight away.
A healthy Chiesa will start with Martinelli.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
A healthy Chiesa.
Yeah, but how healthy is he going to, do you know what I mean?
They've already got Trossard there, though, as a backup. They've also got Smith Rowe that can play there. I think they need a right winger.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I've gone for Moussa Diaby. Because Saka's all alone. Saka's all alone on the right wing. And obviously we had Pepe. He didn't work out. He's gone. We just signed Marquinhos, the young Brazilian lad, and he's gone on loan to Norwich last season. Didn't nothing special. Not ready yet for the Premier League and Champions League. Now we're in the Champions League. We can't just have Saka on that side, competing for the Prem and trying to do as best as we can in the Champions League. Because I think we can get to the semi-final in the Champions League. Why not? And why is that funny? Why is that funny? Villarreal were in the Champions League semi-final a couple of years ago.
Things can happen in the Champions League. Special things.
You don't need to be the best team from Champions League. Sam knows that, and so does Zach.
Wow.
So
won it twice.
Yeah, and so does Faysal actually. Like you don't need to be the best team in the Champions League.
Facts.
We can have a good run, whatever, and get as far into the Champions League, and obviously Premier League as well. We're trying to compete. We need someone there because Saka the last 2 seasons played way too many games.
Yeah, he did.
Way too many games. Left side, like Dougie just said, obviously we've got Martinelli there. Trossard can play. Trossard more comfortable on the left than he is on the right. He can go to the right, but whatever. We've got Smith Rowe, who can play on the left. He played on the left forward. On the right, Reece Nelson. He's more left-sided for me, but he can play on the right. But
Good player.
like, you know what I mean?
Fabio
Good.
Vieira is a
I
bit
like
disappointing
Reece
as
Nelson
well.
a lot, but we don't know his contract's expiring. We still haven't heard this full decision on that. Fabio
Havertz will
Vieira
play
can
there,
play
yeah.
on the right. Havertz,
But you want him in
but
the
this is a
middle, yeah.
proper good winger, explosive, unpredictable. Especially if he's coming on for Saka. Some games he can start for Saka and Saka can be rested. Like Pep will just Mahrez will score a hat trick in the FA Cup semi-final and then not play 2 games, 3 games later. Like it doesn't matter. Like that's the options I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want
just don't know if
I
you're
want
at
Saka to
that
score 2
stage
goals
yet.
in a screamer and then he doesn't play the next game. Diaby comes in, Saka's got a rest. That's what I want, and I think we really need. Obviously, Rice and Timber are my first options, but I feel like it's probably going to happen. So I didn't go for the Rice and the Timber. I went for someone who we haven't been strongly linked to yet. And I went for a right winger.
If you were given the option, same price, same everything, Diaby or Kesa, who would you go with?
Chiesa, he's more comfortable.
One
on the left
point.
or right. No, wait.
Derby.
That's what I'm
They need
saying.
Diaby.
No,
No,
right winger,
I'm
they
saying
need right
I didn't say Chiesa. I said Chiesa. Is he more left side or the right side?
He can play both.
I think
He's
Diaby's
a
more
more
of a
natural-
right winger.
He's a more natural left
That's
winger,
why I'll
but
go for
he can
Diaby.
play with Italy, with Juve as well. He can play on the right.
I
And
know,
he's
but I think
very
Diaby's a natural right winger.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Sam, you've gone for Xavi Simons, a player that I adore.
I think
he's so good.
he is so good. Like, and I think he's the type of player that would work perfectly for Arteta. We see them linked with players that are versatile midfielders that can also play, like Havertz, for example. We're hearing rumours of him playing number 8, playing false 9, playing out wide. Xavi Simons is a player that he's almost grown into that type of player. A player that's also had pressure since he was the age of 15, 16.
Yeah.
PSG, if PSG don't trigger
Activate the buyback,
their buyback clause, then Arsenal should be all over it. I understand them going for Havertz, but I think if Xavi is there on the market and it's at a reasonable price, I think it would be perfect, especially if they're losing Partey and Xhaka. Having a player like him that can also, if Odegaard, because no one's really thinking Odegaard, like obviously last season was great for Arsenal, but we saw with Liverpool when they had that injury-strucken season that affected their whole team.
Yeah.
If they have players like Xavi Simons, who seems like he's willing to, make the sacrifices to get better. Him going to play in the Eredivisie and then being the top goal scorer, playing for a team when he could have literally just been chilling. Like he could have been chilling and bided his time. But I think he's more interested in the process. And Arteta, Arsenal seems like the perfect fit.
Okay.
All good chance.
Yeah.
4 really good shouts. They are very, very good. I'm giving points to Sharky and Sam.
Nice.
Sharky and Sam. The next team, Manchester United. Which player do they have to sign?
This one is easy.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Reveal.
Good shout.
Super. So Mike Maignan, Onana,
yeah.
Evan Ferguson.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a
You
shout.
know I'm an Evan Ferguson fan.
Yeah.
You know I'm an Evan
He's looking for the points. He's looking for the points.
I'll take away my Evan Ferguson bias. In fact, I think he might be one of the best strikers just to see.
That's a vet move.
Go ahead,
is still-
go ahead, Diggs. For a goalkeeper as well, like they've chosen.
Yeah, goalkeeper, crucial. But I thought they'd all go goalkeeper, so I wanted to suggest someone different. Look, United striking options are getting pretty thin on the ground. Kane, I don't think he's going to go to Man United. Kolomwani looks quite expensive. I think they'll be priced out of Osimhen. And in that below bracket, you look at Lautaro Martinez. I'm not sure Inter Milan are going to be willing to sell him, to be honest. And yeah, I think Evan Ferguson is potentially someone that people are sleeping on. I'm not sure Brighton would sell Caicedo, McAllister and Ferguson in the same window because they'll be so cash flush, But Ferguson, from the glimpses we saw last season, and yes, it's only glimpses, but at 18,
What a
I think
guy.
he got 10 goals in 25 games. I think he got six in the Premier League. He looks physically ready for the Premier League. He's very two-footed. He's nice and strong. He's quick. But he looks pretty complete. And I know it's a small sample size, but if you could persuade them to flip, I think he only was signed from an Irish club for about £5 million. So if they could make a £45 million profit in 18 months to a year, I actually can't remember when he signed for them, but maybe they'd be willing to do it. And they need to sign 2 strikers, Man United, and getting Ferguson and a more experienced striker in. Suddenly they look pretty good for next year.
Okay.
That would be a
good player,
great
he's a good
signing.
player,
But
exactly.
I just don't, obviously you said
It's not
that,
very
but-
realistic.
But I just think in this market, then there's no way they're going to say 50 or 55 mil. They're going to go straight to the 80 plus.
And also, I think maybe he'll do another 1 full season with Brighton. Like he needs a full season Premier League striker, main man at Brighton.
Yeah,
and
because he only
also,
came in around November time.
Yeah, so I think he needs
so
to.
good,
And then he'll go even more expensive if he does really
Yeah.
want next season.
Maybe get ahead of the issue though. Save some money this summer rather than next year.
Okay.
This man.
Sam, go on.
Sorry, they need to sign.
Yeah, I've got the same as you.
They need to sign.
I'll let you do the talking.
He's a baller, one, but two, he's played under Eric Ten Hag. He knows the way he wants to play. I'm talking from a United perspective as well. They can't start another season with De Gea in goal. Obviously, we've seen rumours of him potentially signing a new deal. We haven't seen it being confirmed, but if that is the case, that is going to hold them back so much, because the way Eric Ten Hag wants to play, it's clear he wants to use his keeper in the way he plays. Onana is not even. I don't even know whether a sweeper keeper does him justice. I feel like he's just another player, and he's wearing gloves on his hands. Like, and the prices that we've seen, 60 mil for a young keeper that's got experience, Champions League final experience. I think it's a no-brainer for United.
Why have you gone Mike Mannion over Onana?
I thought he's the most reliable, most solid. I would even put Costa over Onana.
Really?
I would even put, because United, they need a ball-playing goalkeeper. I get that, but at the same time,
gave you one.
Yeah. He's the out of all Mike, Onana and Costa, he's the better one. But at the same time, United problem last season wasn't just ball playing. They were leaking. There was a lot of chances. De Gea did save them a lot of time.
Top shot stopper.
Exactly. Mike Magnan is both of them. He's a ball-playing goalkeeper, not as good as Onana.
Nowhere near.
That's what I said. Not as
good.
He's capable of doing it, but not to the extent of Onana.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's the most, by far, the most reliable shot reflexes, shot stopping. He took Milan from that Napoli tie. Just dragged them to the semi-final. Last season, carried Milan to the final. I feel like Onana's got a lot of mistake in this game. I feel like people looking at that Champions League performance, I get it, couple of nice touches, but
I think had most clean sheets as well.
but I feel like if he's put behind that United defense, which isn't as solid as people think, he's going to concede a lot of goals, and people are going to forget all about that ball playing thing.
Okay, Sharky, anything to add at all?
Similar reason as Sam. I think from the United fans that I know personally and just online, I think De Gea, no one can deny, is a very good shot stopper. He is a top shot stopper. But just playing out from the back, they've struggled. There's times where like he could like start a move or continue a move or whatever, but the players won't even pass back to him because they know it's going to break down, or he'll try and ping it and he'll go off the pitch. You know, like he hasn't got that. And maybe I'm biased because of the Champions League final was very recent, but the things I was seeing Onana do in that game,
It's incredible.
like it's a Champions League final, high stakes. This guy is confidently just splitting the two forwards of Man City, passing right down the middle straight to his players, midfielders, or just pass like he's coming high up. Like it's ridiculous. And I think United, they've got some top midfield players like Casemiro's, the Brunos, and Eriksen's, very good players, and might sound more. I think they'll benefit highly with a goalkeeper that can find them straight away, split the pass, two passes that can be through on goal. So I think that's a big help.
It's crazy how both Onana and Magnan both played in the semis, right? Yeah. But Mike Magnan was a standout performer rather than Onana. That's what you need.
He's probably busier though.
Busy, but was more
stand-up.
Inter wasn't troubled by Milan at all with no Leao. I feel like, and it's just my opinion, I feel like he's a better keeper and will benefit United.
It's always hard to tell.
United should have signed him for 3 the year before.
Yeah,
let's not start this one again.
Let's not do this.
Let's not start this one again.
Full stop, sir.
They need to keep a full stop. And the point is going to Faysal.
Yeah.
The next team, Liverpool. Who is the player they have to sign?
I'm doing this for one man.
Wow. Okay. 3, 2, 1, reveal. Turam Bastoni.
You know you said one man. I knew you were going to say that.
Valverde.
He is not
Gravenberch.
I knew you were going to say that.
Okay. Let's start with Valverde.
Hi Faisal. He's a big fan of Valverde. Huge fan of Valverde. I don't think it's gonna happen. But I do.
So we can live in an imaginary
Madrid. So also, I think obviously maybe if Liverpool are gonna do the Trent midfield thing and gonna commit to it, maybe they need a right back because they have Calvin Ramsey. That's his name, Calvin Ramsey. Scottish right back. He's a good player, but obviously not Premier League experienced yet and all that stuff. So they still will need someone to even maybe be a good rotation for Trent if Trent isn't gonna always start there. But hey, Valverde is versatile.
Yes.
He can play right back.
Yes.
He can play. He can. Like so obviously probably not realistic, but they just signed Jude Bellingham. They're keeping Cruz Modric. What's the
Many's still
there.
there.
They're Tremeni, Camavinga. I mean Camavinga's more of a left back these days, so maybe that's
No, it's midfielder.
I say that. So maybe Valverde maybe just want to come over to the Premier League and change everything up. Llorente is another option I could have put down.
Mhm.
Like that, I think is more of a realistic option. But
Yeah.
to be fair, I think this is a versatile player who would improve Liverpool's midfield massively.
Yeah.
Would improve Liverpool's team massively because he can play right wing if Salah's not available. He can play fullback.
Salah a rest for first
Yeah,
time
give
ever.
Salah a rest, like same as Saka. He needs a rest. I've already shown he's very capable at right wing. At one point, this guy was saying he's one of the best right wingers in the world. So he can play there. He can play right back.
I did.
You said a lot of things, right?
Yeah, he
I
said some
did.
crazy things. But I don't think it's super realistic. I just put it down because
I like it.
Imaginary world.
I like it. You've gone for Bastoni. I think it's the only centre back. Why do
Bastoni.
you think that's the biggest issue over the midfield? Because it felt like last season we were always talking about.
But I feel like Bastoni is going to play left back. If they get Bastoni, I feel like they should say goodbye. Not say goodbye necessarily.
He's not a Robertson fan.
Really?
Yeah.
They need
That's
to.
a stretch, bro.
They need to go away from that Robertson role. Because the thing is, if Trent, we've seen it. If Trent goes to that right midfield situation, going to play a 3-man back line. Robertson is not that player for that left centre back role. We've seen it last season. Defensively, I feel like people. This is my opinion about Robertson. I feel people credit him more than what they should, just because of his assist numbers, set pieces ability. But if we come down to defensively, and if they want to play that 3-man centre back line, Robertson should not be that person. We've seen it last season when they tried it. When Konate gets dragged out, Robertson sat inside that box completely.
Bastoni will be better in the back three than
Bastoni,
Robertson, obviously.
and
But
he's
I don't
also
think they'll play a back three. I think they'll shape up for a back four,
That-
and then it will turn into a
hence-
three when they're attacking.
Hence the reason
because
Bastoni is
they'll
also
midfield.
capable to play that left as a left back. He did it with Inter, providing an assist, Champions League assist as a left back as well. I feel like if they're trying to go to that new role system of theirs, he's the perfect man for
Any
it.
more defensive
I
line
just-
and left
I
back.
just don't
Okay.
think that's
I think he
it's
signed a
enough.
new contract as well, Bastoni.
He did.
And he loves
However,
Inter.
we can think
But
imaginary
yeah, it's
world. We're looking
imaginary
at Valverde. Exactly. Thuram.
I
Not
think
Marcus
midfield, I
Thuram,
think
obviously.
people aren't focusing on midfield enough. Like they lost Keita, they lost Milner, they lost Ox. They've only brought in McAllister, so they're men down in there. And we saw last year. I mean, Carvalho's now leaving to RB Leipzig as well. He's playing in midfield. Harvey Elliott's too lightweight, playing midfield. I think at the moment. Curtis Jones had a really good end of the year as well, but you can't rely on Thiago's injury record. So I think Kefren Thuram, who they're targeting at the moment, looks like it's going to be done after the under-21 Euros. Like, he's been phenomenal for Nice for a long time now. Not going to pretend I watch him on a week in, week out basis, but he's played for 4 years there. He's only 22. He's a big unit as well. He's 6'2". Got a nice calmness in the opposition third as well. I really like the look of him, and he'll come in potentially not with the biggest reputation, but has the potential, I think, to be one of the best midfielders in Europe in 2-3 years' time.
I love
Wow.
those. That's been Liverpool's philosophy. They signed the players that didn't have the biggest reputation, even to Salah, like Salah, the Robertson from Hull,
Mane.
Firmino.
you know, and look what they became. So
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Okay. And you've gone for?
I've gone for Gravenberch. Do I say Gravenberch or Gravenberch?
Gravenberch.
Gravenberch, yeah. I think he's the type of player Liverpool need, but also for his career, I think he needs out of Bayern. Like, I think he went there as a hot prospect. Everyone was touting him as one of the best young central midfielders because he's been on the scene since he was like 16 years old. He had an incredible time at Ajax, and then when he went to Bayern, it's almost like, I don't know if the jump was too big for him, but I also think like a team like Bayern, they're so set in their ways that it'll be so hard for you to break into that team. And I don't think that that's anything to do with him. And looking at all the teams in the world and teams that need midfielders with experience, that are youthful, that can also play in a midfield 2, a midfield 3 as well, I think he has that flexibility that Liverpool need right now. Also, he's quite tall, can score goals, and he seems like a player that Klopp would love. So I think that he would be perfect for them.
Okay.
Also, them looking at Rice suggests that they've already brought in Lima as well. He's not going to be playing that much next year either.
Okay.
And it's crazy with that
Okay.
Gravenberch, all that Ajax team that went.
I'm
Potato,
Dutch.
potato,
You know
man.
this. I'm Dutch. You should
all that
pronounce it wrong.
Ajax semi-final team, the only one that succeeded in terms of the departure, it's only been Frankie. Like,
Yeah.
everyone hasn't underperformed.
But this one, I just don't think it's down to him. He needs to get out of there.
Yeah, there's one point.
Yeah,
If this
yeah,
was
yeah.
a
He came out.
player
I
that
think,
needs
yeah,
to move.
yeah, he
it's
came
him.
out. I think he said that if
He can't be
I
doing this
don't
again,
start next season, yeah.
I'm off.
Yeah.
Okay,
promises.
well, I'm going to have to give the point to Sharky.
Yes.
I really like the Valverde shout. And Dougie was very close. You're very close, but you didn't quite get
No
it.
worries.
You didn't feel
No
Gravenberch?
worries.
No, you didn't feel Gravenberch?
No,
I
no,
didn't.
no. I think Thuram maybe
Not on
should have
this
won that
occasion.
one. I think Thuram maybe should have won that one.
Too predictable.
Okay, now we're going to do our last one here.
Okay.
Chelsea. I'm not going to accept Caicedo because it could be done. I think it's a bit too easy. However, I'll allow anything else. In this world, let's imagine Caicedo has joined Chelsea. so you don't maybe have to think about a DM position if you don't want to.
Oh, I'm just gonna do it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, reveal.
I went
Osman,
I went for keeper.
Onana, same goalkeepers that like it. Szoboszlai, interesting. Now, we kind of spoke earlier, sounded like we said that the attacking side of things, Chelsea seemed quite filled. You want to add an extra one?
Yeah, I still think they lack a bit of creativity, to be honest. I think Nkunku's more of a last shoulder player, makes excellent runs, but I don't think he's ever been super creative, even when he's played in more central areas. I think personally Nkunku's probably going to play on the left. And I think they could do with a Mount replacement if Mount leaves. This is on the condition that Mount leaves. And Szoboszlai, Leipzig are not crazy negotiators. Like, they do sell at a certain price, and Szoboszlai has proven over the last 2 seasons since he got fit from that big knee injury that he is one of the most exciting attacking midfielders that are sort of coming through. He's really creative, takes great shots, he's got amazing technique from free kicks as well. And there's no surprise that likes of Newcastle are looking at him as a Maddison alternative. You've lost João Felix, you've lost potentially Mount. I think there's a hole in that 10 space, and I think you're asking a lot for Nkunku to come in there, who has played a lot of his best football off the left and play in those congested midfield zones when he's such an athlete. I think I'd use him wide personally, at least to start with. So yeah, 10, but I can also get the goalkeeper and the striker idea as well.
Okay.
I'm being quite selfish, to be fair, because I think we've already signed, at the time of recording, we've already signed Nicholas Jackson. He hasn't been unveiled, but it's happened. But we need a certified bagsman. Like, we need someone that is going to come in and is just going to score from the offset, because what we saw last season, scoring 38 goals in 38 games, is something that I've never experienced as a Chelsea fan. But it's almost been
Strikers don't usually work at Chelsea.
Yeah, and that is the case for previous years, but Poch has got
you
a
Nigerian
plan.
as well, by the way?
Yeah, Poch
so
has got a plan.
Nigerian Chelsea striker. That's why you want it. He's in a fantasy world. That's why.
Bro, and Drogba is one of his idols.
So how much is he going to cost?
The thing is, it's going to cost a lot of money, but quality does. And in today's market, in terms of strikers, there's not that many strikers that you can say will come in and score straight away. Even the likes of Vlahovic, I'm not fully convinced that he would be another player that I'm saying I'm not too sure. But Osimhen, I think he comes in and he scores straight away. It's going to cost a lot of money. But the reason why I didn't go over keeper is because I think Kepa's season last season was underrated. Yes, we finished. No,
Mendy's
honestly,
gone though as well.
Yeah, Mendy's gone, but we've also got a few keepers.
That's Lenina.
Selena.
Gaza, I think we call him.
Okay, Gaza.
That is I think 18 or 19, and he's coming up. He's not. I don't think we should spend 60 million or 70, whatever they want on a keeper. I think we can.
So you might have to spend 120 on Osimhen, and his injury record prior to last season was pretty patchy.
But then that's why we got Nicholas Jackson. Because then if he
comes
out,
as well.
Broja as well. Like, I'm being selfish because I know what I experienced last season, and I just need goals.
Think of the money, Zach.
I need Osimhen.
For Victor, it needs to be more than 100 for Victor.
Yeah. That's fine. 130.
Nico Jackson, I think Nico Jackson is going to be good for you guys.
You're a big fan
of
him, aren't
you?
you?
Guy, so
Nico Jackson is very, very good.
But do you think he's ready to come straight in and be the goal scorer I'm talking about?
If Poch gives him the chance, I reckon he will do. Okay, not a similar role as Victor would do, but I think he's going to give you double digits goals, even more as 15. He's a very talented striker.
Wow. No, his first season.
It's him.
I'll take that.
It's him.
I'm clipping that out. I'll take that.
I'm telling you.
The thing is, I'm just talking about the pressure as well, though, because he can be a good player, but we're talking about coming into one of the best teams in Europe. I'm going to say that
I think
again.
he's only ever made 16 starts.
So the
last
reality
season,
is,
last season was his
say
first.
One of you mean like one of top 20 maybe?
No. Come on. There's only how many people in here that have won the Champions League? 2. Oh yeah, fair enough.
But I feel like your problem is bigger than is in goal.
So why do you think the goalkeeper issue is bigger than the striker issue?
Because I feel like you can't rely a season without with having Kepa as your goalkeeper, I feel like you can if you have Nico Jackson. So I don't know what, Nico Jackson or even Nkunku who can slot into that role. Your problem is more at the back rather than the front. If you go next season with Kepa as your main goalkeeper, then bro, you're about to have a bad. It's going to be another bad season for you guys.
I disagree though, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like people have underestimated Kepa's season last year. Yes,
he was good.
Like, he was genuinely like. And trust me, I've been very critical of Kepa since he's been at Chelsea. But the reality is, last season, I cannot say that he was one of our worst performers. He was probably one of our best performers. Even the games that we won, we didn't deserve to win if not for him. Like Aston Villa game.
How many games did you win?
Yeah,
not
that's
a
what I was
lot.
thinking. I was like,
Not
I actually was trying to
exactly,
think.
not a
Not
lot.
much.
So for that to be the case, and even games that we lost by like 1 goal, or even it could have been way worse. And for a keeper like him, that yes, he had the price tag that he did, and he's always had that pressure on him. I feel like he's come into his own, and I think if Poch is saying that he doesn't mind him being his starting keeper, I'm gonna trust it, because the keepers now, Onana, Magic Mike, I think over 60 mil is too much for us when we've got a keeper.
But,
like
but
Kevin
you're
already.
giving me like United vibe with De Gea when they were trying to defend De Gea.
De Gea's different.
It's giving me the same vibe.
De Gea's-
Like,
De
he
Gea's
saved me a
actually
couple of
costing them.
times, this and that. But if you
Stockholm
look,
syndrome, man.
if you
Nah.
if you look deeper, Kepa is not your main problem, but he is one of the part of the problem. Striker, you can rely on Nico and Kunku. You can rely on them. Getting Victor Osimhen for Napoli just came out and said his
That's
release
just
clause
greedy,
is
man.
180. It's greedy, man.
You're being greedy, man.
I deserve to be
Chelsea are
greedy.
a greedy
38
club.
goals in 38
Chelsea are a
games.
greedy
I
club.
need
You
goals.
spent
bro.
600 mil last season.
Exactly,
You got
you're so
everyone.
greedy.
You
For the,
bought
for,
everyone.
for the
He just-
future, for the future, not
He
all
just
of them
signed a
are-
striker. Like Nico's enough, and
And
Kunku is enough.
I think yours is probably the best shout. I just think it's so unrealistic that it's kind of.
But we're not doing the realistic ones, are we? 'Cause
What was it, Dream?
But it's about it's whatever you want. But it's also I'm not doing it about what you're necessarily picking. I'm doing it on how you're debating.
Okay, let's ask the Chelsea fan then. Would you next
Hey,
season?
this isn't on me.
bringing the judge in.
If I had to pick one player out of who you suggested,
Would you rather have a keeper or would
Or
you rather
striker?
have a striker?
Wait.
oh, so it's like.
I'd rather have both if I could, and I'd be greedy.
That's Chelsea.
Um,
we'll
Wait,
take
both or all
both.
three?
Give me
But
two options, I'll take both.
I think I'll take all three if I could. I don't know enough about Jackson to fully back him for next season, so I would probably go with a striker.
Yeah, it's good.
However, I can also say Chelsea will need to do maybe something in goal as well if they've lost Mendy.
Yeah. But for
Appeased everyone there. The point goes to Dougie and Faysal.
oh my gosh, I'm
kept quiet on that
calling
one.
VAR, bro. This is terrible.
I liked yours. I just felt like I thought Faysal was able to debate you. I think he was able to win his argument slightly better. Because the one thing that I was waiting for you to say, and you
Getting
didn't,
sassy now.
was Chelsea actually had a very similar defensive record to Arsenal in the Premier League.
We had a bad defensive record.
Yeah.
Well,
No one talks
there
about
we
it
go.
enough.
There we go.
That was a point that I could have
We
said.
conceded a lot
Still,
of goals.
Yeah.
No one talks about that enough.
Late on.
Yeah.
on.
Okay then, guys. That is it. Pens away. I will be counting the scores, and we'll see who's the winner, singly, and also which team out of SDS versus FD.
Oh, it's a teamwork, okay.
Gosh.
No, right.
Bring it home, Faisal. I didn't hear Sharky many times. I got many points.
Okay.
What's going on?
Okay.
What's happened? What's happened?
Why is it
Okay.
so tense for?
So
No one's actually going to mind.
in bottom place,
Individually in bottom place.
Sharky and Sam.
There we go. We'll take it. We'll take
Really?
it.
I thought
Yeah.
Oliver was up there. Okay.
That's fair.
At top, Dougie and Faysal.
That is.
Oh,
Wait,
tie.
so it's a draw.
Straight
You
shoots
two
that.
had 3 and you two had 4 points.
That is.
Oh,
so,
wow.
so it's a
So-
draw
so-
as
14.
well
Hey, sudden
between
death, man. We need
FD
sudden death.
versus
Oh wow.
SDS. I do feel like we need a sudden.
Come on.
I'm down for a tiebreaker.
I think we do.
time.
I think we do.
Tiebreaker.
I think we
I'm
do.
down for a
All right.
tiebreaker.
All right, screw
The
it.
viewers
why don't
want
we
a
do- why don't we do-
tiebreaker.
wait. Why don't we do that? You have to confer beforehand.
Okay, yeah,
And then-
okay.
As a team.
Yeah,
As a
argument.
team.
One team argument.
Okay, and we're going to do the same thing. Which player does Newcastle need next season?
Okay.
Okay.
Only get one person to write it down on the board,
Newcastle.
please.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Do you want to go for it?
Legit did not do that on purpose, by the way. Did not do that on purpose.
I think we can do this.
It's about making something that Zach likes. It's about him.
You down,
You sure?
yeah? Yeah. You might as well.
Okay, I can hear some tactics going on. All right. 3, 2, 1, reveal the boards. Madison,
Chiesa.
Chiesa.
He really likes him for some reason.
I don't mind it. I'm happy. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Okay. I want to hear Chiesa's link to
I feel
Newcastle.
like Madison's obvious. I feel like let's just put it out there as well. I feel like it's not
Obviously
creative.
right.
It's not creative. It's not.
He might go Spurs.
He might go Spurs.
Might do.
But Chiesa, I feel like next season, United, Newcastle, they're playing Champions League.
Nice helping him
And
out.
teamwork. They're 4 competitions. They can't rely on the current wingers. They've got who? Almiron, who's hit and miss. St. Maximan, also hit and miss. Injury prone as well.
Joe Linton plays out there.
Joe Linton.
Is he?
Gordon.
He's been better in midfield.
He's better in
Just
midfield.
signed Gordon.
Murphy.
Gordon is not it. And then
Spent a lot of money on him.
And then
Spent a lot of money on him.
They need someone that can come out there, do exact same impact as Isaac did. Isaac can play there as well, but you need him up front. Who better than bringing the man who can help Tonali adapt to the Premier League and bring another
He needs to
person.
adapt
from the national
Wait,
bring someone who is available for a good fee, 50, 60 million. He can play both. He should be the guaranteed starter.
Yeah, I think he'll start for Newcastle
and take it to the next level.
They do need. They could do with a winger.
They are in the Champions League.
Coming off an ACL injury.
They could.
Big amount of
That's his
money.
only argument. That's his only
Well,
argument.
it's a serious argument. It takes months to recover from that.
Madison's coming out from a bad season with Leicester.
No, he
and
wasn't.
Bilbao.
He had a
pretty good season.
But even on
second half of the season.
on top of that, we're talking about, remember the argument that we had before about Tonali being expensive, right? So we're talking about Chiesa. You're saying 60 mil. That's going to be expensive for a position that you just named 5 or 6 players that can play that exact
But
Get him,
same
get him.
position.
That's can play.
No, but
Like, how many actual like proper starting wingers did they have? With Joe Linton, we can say he's playing more midfield or like left side of midfield, but not winger anymore as much.
They could play Isak wide.
They can play Isak wide, but it's like, okay, cool.
They
Arsenal
just
can play,
signed
Arsenal play
Gordon.
Jesus right wing. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about actual wingers. They've got Saint Maximan, who's a very good player, dangerous for any defender. Almiron, who purple patch here and there, but they're in Champions League now. They need Champions League level wingers. Murphy, similar thing. Champions League level wingers. We don't know if he's ready if he's a Champions League player. So literally just Saint Maximan, and that's it. Really, actual wingers that can play. You never know at that level. Chiesa will come in. Newcastle, a Champions League team. They need kind of some star power in that team in the front line. They need to stay Isak and Callum Wilson as their striker options. They can't start mixing and matching. Saint Maximan and Chiesa on the wings with Isak or Wilson. That is a better Champions League level wing front three.
I think they need something different in the middle of the park. Come on, you look at all their midfield options.
Yeah,
Even Bruno Guimaraes, there is a lack
for
of
sure.
like a natural creator in there. There's a lack
Facts.
of guile. There's so much running, but there's not that much creativity.
Facts.
Madison, I think he was double figures for goals and assists last year in a terrible Leicester side.
Facts.
player.
Broken into the England squad. I love this backup.
Hype man.
And like needs to go to a Champions League level club as well. I'd pick Newcastle over Spurs, but that's kind of a different debate. And I feel like he is ready to instantly hit the ground running at Newcastle. He's not coming off an ACL injury. I do keep on saying it because that is a big injury.
Big injury.
And he was out for 9 months.
A lot of players has come back from a come on. Let's be real. A lot of
No,
players.
they do come
ACL
back.
is a common
They do
injury.
come back.
ACL
They do
is
come
a
back,
common
but it's a
injury.
risk.
A lot of players has come back
But it's
from
a risk though. It's a risk, and we're talking. You guys have literally done it for us. You've named the players that can play in that position. Yes, they
We've
might
done it
not.
for you. Look
No,
how
but-
good that technique is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We've
these
given
players
you the
can play there.
advantage. We'll still win though.
But that's the whole point of it.
You know?
The
It's like 8
injury
Mile,
and the
Eminem.
price.
He said his
The
flaws.
injury.
He said his flaws in his raps. You
The
know,
it-
it's like what self-deprecating. So is it?
Say-
Look,
come
there's
on.
some players that can play in that position, but are they good enough for Champions League football? You know, so we
I think the fact they're
we
more
use
likely
your
to do
argument
this
for
deal
you.
does also count as well. We are going down. Newcastle's recruitment team are smarter than all of us.
But then
we have
again,
statistics
but
to prepare that
also
they're going to sign.
the creativity is not just go for the one that
Exactly.
everyone knows.
And
Also
Zach-
should count in this decision.
Exactly.
No, because it's
you
also-
voted for
it's
Fede
also the
Valverde,
one-
which is a dream signing.
No,
Let's
but
just
it's
take that into
also it's
account as
also
well.
the one that will suit the team the best. And I think Maddison going into that Newcastle team will not only make them better in the Premier League, but give them something different in the Champions League and all the
Okay.
other competitions that they're playing.
Okay, the
Factual.
gauntlet is going down.
Factual.
So you think Madison will play midfield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
Okay.
like can I just add one more thing? Just
In
one more
front
thing.
of-
No,
Tonali and
no.
Bruno.
Ref
Just-
said the
no,
gauntlet
no,
is
no.
down.
Last
The
minute, last minute.
ref said the gauntlet is
Give me
down.
10 seconds. Give me 10 seconds.
You got 5.
Give me 5 seconds. A midfield of Madison, Tonali, and Bruno. That is not a very defensive, secure midfield. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Said that at the time of the Tonali signing.
Okay. The point to decide it all. And obviously, you know, I'm taking my FD bias off as well.
Oh,
I'm
we
just
know.
football YouTube here.
Facts.
Gosh.
That's what we need from a good
It's going
judge.
to SDS.
Let's
Referee, are you kidding me?
I can't believe that.
I'll be honest,
That is a
guys.
I was
travesty.
about
I'll
to
be
do the
honest,
whole
guys.
sympathetic
I agree.
good
Madison
argument,
should go
but-
to the
That is a
I was
travesty.
like, let me fight his case.
They argued for us, Zach.
We had a good
My
argument.
one worry,
We had a
my
better
one
argument.
worry is if you'd said Madison and you didn't say this, I made sure you didn't say this. If you'd say Madison would have played off the right, for Newcastle.
But he
or
went
for the
there
left.
for right.
Because that's why I think the position he actually
Correct.
played for them is. Then I
Exactly.
would have agreed. Because I do think they need.
Yeah.
I do think they need
think
the
so.
wing side of it more.
I agree.
That's charity.
You
You've
better-
done a charity.
you
giveaway.
better
it's
keep that
we had a
FD
better
hat off, bro.
argument.
Come on,
We had a
man.
better
Lads,
argument.
I'm not paying them.
better argument, yeah? That's what
You
it
better
is.
keep that FD hat off and go back to SDS when they're leaving, bro.
Come on, we need you on the show. You should come on something.
Okay, they might literally
Come
kick
on.
me out of the building after this. Guys, thank you so much, Sam, Dougie.
There's no loyalty.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. That has been Team Talk. Sharky,
Thank you
if
for
people at
having
home want to go check you out, where
Yeah.
should they go?
With this, you guys, you can check me out in many places. Score, TikTok, whatever. But you guys are big football fans if you're watching this great channel. So I recommend heading over to SDS. You can see myself, Faysal, and loads more members of the SDS cast debating about football just like this. And if you enjoy it, stick around and subscribe.
Faysal, you've started a YouTube channel.
Oh yes, it's called El Face. Started a couple of weeks ago. It's more.
Doing well.
I feel like I've taken it. A lot of it's always Prem based in this country. I feel like it's now time for everyone just to learn more about the European content, the La Ligas, the Serie A's, the League A's,
And some Prem as well. Some Prem.
and some Prem as well. Hence the reason why we voted for Faysal. So that knowledge came from that
Gaze
channel.
every day. Yeah.
So that knowledge came from the channel.
He just
so, yeah.
wants him in the Prem for every team.
I love it. Well, thank you guys so much. Make sure you check them out. If you're not already subscribed to Football Daily, leave a comment of what other guests as well you'd like to see from the YouTube football sphere down below as well. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, and we'll catch you guys next time. See you later. Bye.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.